Hi.
Hi.
What's your name?
My name is Roxanne Ray.
Roxanne. How have you been?
I've been doing well. How have you been?
I've been really well, thank you.
Good.
So this is going to be the first of hopefully many interviews that I do with models to kind of get a little deeper with them than my usual 2 minute. Hi, give me your name, give me your limits, give me your what are the safe words, what do you want to do today, why'd you do this? So we're trying to get a little more in depth with the models, see if people give a shit about this or not.
Okay.
So
I'm glad to be popping your cherry.
yeah. Just start it like that, aren't we? How's your coffee?
It's really good.
How do you take your coffee?
Usually black, but today I put some cream and sugar.
Really?
I know, but I mean, definitely not the way you take it.
I'm gonna say, so I'm rubbing off on you a little bit?
Maybe a tad bit.
Because for anybody that cares, I take my coffee. I basically take my cream with a little coffee and a lot of sugar in it.
Yes.
That's kind of the way I drink my coffee. So let's see. You and I have shot together. I don't even want to try and count how many times we've done this, but we've done this a lot.
Mm-hmm.
And you are definitely more of like a fan favorite, especially when it comes to the stuff that I shoot, because of the dynamic that you and I have. But it's because we're friends off camera as well. I guess let's see. Let's talk about you. Let's know about where are you from?
Miami.
Miami. Is that your holla?
Holla. 305.
Were you born there? And anything, so everybody that's listening knows, anything that you were like, I don't want to get this too personal, just say it's too personal and we'll move on.
No, I was born in Manhattan,
Okay.
but I moved to Florida when I was 3. I've been there ever since.
Do you love, are you like this is my place, I'm always going to live in Florida, or you do you ever plan to leave permanently?
So if I had to stay, so I'm in college,
Okay.
right? I graduate in 4 months.
What do you study?
Finance.
Okay. How are your grades?
They're all right.
They're better than right. They're a little above average, aren't they?
They're a little above average.
Okay.
They're enough to put on my resume.
Okay. There's still something to be proud of there?
Yes.
Good.
So wherever I guess that takes me. If I had to stay in Florida, though, I'd like to stay in South Florida. I don't really want to be... I go to school in Tampa. Tampa sucks.
Sorry for anybody from Tampa that's going to
I'm
watch
not
this.
sorry. But
So you're basically whatever somebody says, hey, let's go to Alaska because this job pays exactly the dip. It's that sweet number that you're like, this is my goal. If I can make this, I'm golden. And that was offered to you. Would you move to Alaska?
no.
Why?
I don't like the snow.
So you are limited to a certain degree. You won't go.
Well, I mean, global warming's happening.
So maybe Alaska will be okay when you get the job
Yeah.
offer. 3 months. Did you say 3 months to go? So is Miami your ideal? That's your perfect living condition? All that fucking humidity?
Well, now I know how you feel. No, I think I would like to move. I would like to move to Arizona, probably Arizona or California, but Northern
You're
California.
gonna ask northern or southern?
Northern.
Bay Area or wine country?
Bay.
In the city or the suburbs?
I would like to live in the city.
Really?
I don't know if I could afford
Fucking
it.
expensive it is.
That's what I'm saying. That's why I'm I would like to. But that's why I like Arizona though, because if you live in northern Arizona, it's cheap, but it's really pretty.
It is. I've only been through Arizona. Spent a lot of time at the airports, or either drove through the top corner of it, going from Vegas to Utah.
And I couldn't live in Vegas.
Why not Vegas?
It's way too dry.
What the fuck do you think Arizona is?
I guess I've been to Flagstaff, Arizona.
Is there any more humidity there?
A little more. My face doesn't feel like it's gonna fall off here.
Well, you
There.
also, like I said, you come from Florida, which is the armpit of America.
You were such a hater.
I'm from Georgia, everybody. That's why I don't like Florida. Excuse me. So, but it's so much humidity down there. It's. I mean, the whole part of the South, from Louisiana, and I love the South, and I'm proud to be a Southerner. But
Southern.
it's a swampy ass down in the South. So you're gonna go from one of the most humid places in the country to one of the most dry places, and then you're gonna say, but my face is gonna fall. What the fuck do you think's gonna happen to your hair? Your hair,
My hair's gonna look really good.
because it's not gonna get frizzy because of the humidity. So
My hair's gonna kill it.
So think of how much more killing it would do if it was in Vegas.
Do you just want me to move to Vegas?
Well, Arizona's close enough. I can still get my hands on you down there. So what else can we talk about? How often do you do this like kind of stuff that you and I do? Do you do a lot of that in your personal life?
I go to fetish parties sometimes. It's nothing like what we do.
Right.
And I don't really. I guess I would like to do it more. I'd like to find someone I could play with more, but that's tough. It's a tough one.
Well, and you and I've talked with several models about this. It's when some of like a lot of the sexual situations that the girls get into are inside the industry.
Mm-hmm.
It kind of spoils you for what's outside the industry because you have people who, well, they get paid to do it, so they have to be a little above average.
Well, especially you. I mean,
what do you mean, especially me?
You're really good at what you do.
Oh, well, thank you, but I'm talking more like even just like good old sex. You've got these boys who this is their job is to fuck until they're told otherwise. So but it's true. I mean, let's pull the curtain back, and it's the porn's not pretty when we're making it. It's not sexy. Although we did have a good stunt rooster yesterday.
We did. That was the best cock. No, but what I'm saying is, like, I mean, the problem is, it's very intimidating coming from this industry to other people. You know, when I tell them, they're like, oh, and they don't know what to do, so they try to pull all this, like, Cirque du Soleil, crazy things, and I'm like, okay, now you're just trying too hard.
What do you think it's because they're intimidated by the fact that you do this for a living?
Yeah, absolutely. And I just feel like what we do is great. I love it. Mm-hmm. But, like, I don't need all of that, like, intricacy. Like, I don't need to be nailed in weird positions and all that stuff. Days. Yeah, you know, I'm down to just being tied to the bed. And, I mean, you know, I like hands. Like, I don't need all those toys and things. I mean, they're great, but I don't need that. And I think when people see what I do here,
they think you do.
They think I need that. And I'm like, I'm not about to let you just whack me with a cane.
Let me ask you this then. What would be, in as much detail as you want to give us, but so people watching that maybe not are pursuing you in real life, but are like, hey, I know this girl and she's in the industry, but I'm intimidated because she's a porn star, because she fucks these guys and she works with that guy and does all these things. What would you tell a guy who wanted to approach a porn star to do to get it right?
Just treat her like a person. Like, I mean, no, because the thing is, like, I have guys and they approach me and they'll be like, oh, you know, it goes two ways. It goes the obsessive route where it's like, oh, you're Roxanne, I love what you do, and I'm like, thank you, you know, and it's sweet, I do appreciate it. But it's just then they already have in their head what they want from me, and I could tell. I'm like, or it goes, they feel because of what I do, they need to, like, puff out their feathers and be pompous assholes. And then they're just, like, meaner to me than they are to other girls because they feel like they have something to prove. And I'm like,
right.
No, you know.
Now, would you judge an interaction because would you compare a civilian to a porn star? Like if someone came up and was like, hey, what's up? Let's go have dinner. And they were super, like, cool the whole time. They were chill, and you're like, this is somebody I'd really like to hang out with and maybe invite back to my place. And then you went back to their place or your place, whatever, and it became intimate and there was sex. But it clearly wasn't porn sex, because porn sex, a lot of people don't know, isn't that sexy anyway. No, because it's just, there's a lot of people standing around. No one gets to basically have any fun until the director says it's okay to have fun. So if the sex happened and there was the sweet little, let's hang out, the clothes are coming off, it's a little touchy-feely, lots of foreplay, but then the actual penetration sex, 5-minute tops. Would you judge this person? Would you be unsatisfied?
I guess it depends on how the 5 minutes. That's the thing, though. It's like 5 minutes to anyone, right?
It depends on. Well, it depends, and that's why I'm asking. But it's like, you know, because most of the time in the real world, sex doesn't last for fucking 45 minutes, like straight fucking. Yeah, for 45 minutes.
I don't need 45 minutes. I mean, maybe a little longer than 5 minutes would be nice.
Right. Okay. So where's your sweet spot?
I would personally say between maybe like, I guess 10 to 20 minutes.
You got high standards.
No, I do not. But I'm
But
a
would
big
you, at the
foreplay
same-
person. Too.
But would you judge anyone that if it was so aroused and you guys had just been fucking grinding and getting down, like it was like
Oh,
really,
if it was like really like before, you know,
really,
it's
really
like,
before,
yeah.
and then when it happened, it was so quick because of the excitement. Would you be disappointed, or would you?
No, I would. No, I really wouldn't.
Okay.
Because that's happened. But usually when that happens, the guy would, you know, finish me off at least
Right.
in some sort of way.
Right.
And that's what I'm like, oh, that's nice. But if they were just like, I'm done, bye, I'd be like, then I would totally judge them. But that's not because.
It's their personality.
Yeah,
not
that's
their
their
performance.
personality. Yeah.
Right. Okay, that's what I was asking
Yeah,
because,
yeah,
like I
yeah.
said, people are gonna assume that that's the way it is. I mean, I don't
Oh.
get a lot of fan mail from people that are like want to interact with me off camera, but when they do, it always has this kind of the same. Well, I know what you're used to, so I mean, I understand that, and I hear that, and I'm like, why people already assume things before they even like start an interaction? So it's kind of like, but you don't like. You know me off camera. I'm like, hey, let's just go watch TV, have a drink, maybe shoot the
Yeah.
shit, probably pass out talking. Like it's not like there's not this level of this big mean guy, just like with you. And that's why I guess one of the things I wanted to do with this too is just kind of humanize people more, so you could kind of see that it's not that bad.
It's not that bad.
And it's not as intimidating, and we are just people that do a different job than most.
It's true, and I feel like I don't know what it is like to be a guy in this industry, but I know as a female, it just I don't like when guys treat me differently, or like especially during sex, they'll be like they'll expect me to be like really porny. And
They
and
want
I'm
the
like,
15 different
yeah, they
positions.
want all the crazy stuff and the blowjob, and I'm like, if I don't expect you to pull it off, like, I don't want to do it either.
Right.
Like, are you paying me? No, you're not. Like,
So I'm not gonna perform.
I'm not performing. No, like
I'm
this
just
is
here
for
like
me.
you.
Yes, and that's the whole thing that I think guys don't understand. Is like they're expecting me to be that way, so they want to be that way, and I'm like, but I'm not gonna be that way.
Right.
So don't worry about it. Or if you try to call me Roxanne while we have sex, it pisses me off. I'll leave.
I'll remember that.
Yeah. I'm just like, excuse you.
Alrighty, so I don't want to turn it too much into sex talk. I just more was like, well, since it kind of went in that direction, I figured I'd ask. What would be your ideal, what's your ideal person, like, to hang out with? Boy, girl, sex, not sex. Just as a person, what do you look for in people?
I like witty people.
Okay.
I like them really witty and funny. I like people who could take a joke and laugh at themselves. And also, I don't like one-uppers. Those people that always have to one-up you.
Yeah.
I cannot.
I get that way sometimes when I'm telling stories. If someone's like, I got a story, and I'm like, oh fuck, I got a great story that's gonna go with that, and I'm suddenly I don't try to be, but I'm like, hey,
No, but that's you just like
excited to tell a story.
What's it called? Going along with, I can't think of the word, but getting
Right.
a part of the story. It's not you being like, well, it's not like I went to jail once. Well, I went to jail and I got
Twice.
shot.
Yeah.
And I'm like,
It's
well,
more,
good for you. It's more of like, hey, yeah, I went to jail for this too. And I'm like, hey. Well, I don't know. I've never been to jail, but
right.
I don't know.
It's whenever something happens, someone's like, oh, but I did it.
But mine's better.
Right.
Yeah, like it's like no. So I don't like one uppers or ignorant. I'm not. See, it's funny because I know people are like, I don't like arrogance, and to me, it depends on the type of arrogance. Like there's like those pompous ones that are just awful to be around, but then there's ones that are just like, are you serious right now? Like, you are so funny. You think you're serious? Like, those are kind of funny, but usually they're just kidding. So
There are
I
the
don't
unfortunate
know.
people that you run into sometimes, and you sit there and you're like, wow, you take yourself way too seriously, and you believe that people are drinking the Kool-Aid and think you're as cool as you think.
you have to remember, I'm a finance major, so I'm around a lot of like businessmen,
Right.
and generic ones that you would exactly think in your head, and they're very like, I'm the best. But there's some that are like, I'm the best, and you're like, "Ugh," and there's some that are like, I'm the best, and you're like, ha, like it's just the way they say it. So yes, that's just funny to me. And no, you can't be a snorer.
Like
No
a full
snoring.
night snore, or just someone who snores occasionally? Like if it's one of those cute little, like I don't even know if the camera picked that one up, but
I guess that's
or
all
are you one
right.
of those like those fucking shake the room all night long
Well, I'm a
snores?
really light sleeper, so if I hear anything, I'm up. So.
So the slightest noise. So if snoring is a deal breaker.
Mm.
Okay, so anybody that wanted to know the final step to get in,
Don't snore.
Don't snore. Go get your sleep apnea machine now. Knock out that snoring. What's your favorite kind of food to eat?
Sandwiches
What kind of sandwiches? Any kind?
with meat.
As long as you're not a grilled cheese and tomato soup girl.
Okay, I do like grilled cheese and tomato soup. I do, but I like subs.
Big, round,
Long.
firm
Yeah.
submarine sandwich.
I do. I love sandwiches and rice. Not together.
That would be a rice. Can I have a brown rice sandwich, please? I'm watching my figure.
Yeah.
Sandwiches, huh? And this is actually, for a sandwich person, this is a pretty good city to be in.
Oh, really?
I moved out here, and remember the first time we shot for my personal stuff,
Yes.
and there was like, oh, let's run around the corner to the Subway because it's the closest sandwich shop. Out here, we haven't been to Subway yet because there's all of these restaurant chains that are everywhere. You obviously have Subways, but then you have the Jimmy John's and the Capriotti's and the Firehouse
Jersey
and the
Mike's.
Jersey Mike's and the Port of Subs, and those are just the chains.
Yeah.
Then you have obviously all these mom and pop places too, but it's like, yeah, there's a fuck ton of sandwich shops in Vegas, and which I love because sometimes I'm like, I just want a ham and cheese sandwich and I'll go over here, but then I want this badass hot cheesesteak and I'll go over here, and it's just a generic cheesesteak. Because if you want the real cheesesteak, then you got to go hunt down. But again, we're in Vegas, so every kind of food that I've looked for so far, I've been able to find in Vegas. Because I'm kind of a foodie and a snob when it comes to eating.
You're such a foodie.
I am.
It's so weird.
To drink the coffee like I drink, but still love food like I love it.
Yeah.
But see, I don't drink coffee with my meals. I drink usually booze.
Oh. Are you like a connoisseur? Like a
I am
beer
not one of those
connoisseur?
people who's like, oh, all I drink is like beer and whiskey. Like, no, if I go to a Mexican, I'll have a margarita. If I go out for Italian, I usually have like a martini.
Look at you.
Yeah. I like dirty martinis.
You like it dirty, don't
Like
you?
well, just the martinis. Everything else, just kidding. Are you a big drinker?
No. I'll have some red wine sometimes.
What does it do? Are you a lightweight when it comes to drinking? Like
Yes, like give me 2 glasses of red wine, and I'm like happy girl.
I was gonna ask you, 2 glasses, does it turn you into a happy girl with the clothes come off, or does it turn you into a bitch that
That's a
wants to
third.
go to sleep?
No, I'm not a mean. Like if I drink, I'm never mean. I'm
Okay.
usually just slutty or just really talkative.
Okay.
I'm a talker. When I went to Israel though, I drank.
You're
a
a
lot
good
of
talker
tequila.
though.
Am I?
You're fun to sit around. We were talking about that last night. It's nice to just sit and talk, and all of a sudden you look up, and you're like, oh shit, we all have to go to work tomorrow. We have to shut the lights off and go to
I
bed.
know. Yeah, you're great to talk to.
Yeah, you're easy to talk to too.
Thank you. No, yeah, but I only like red wine, by the way.
Is there a specific red wine? A red wine blend? Is it a Syrah, Shiraz?
Cabernet.
You're a cab girl.
I am.
Now, are you like a fancy pinky in the air cab drinker, or are you kind of like, as long as it's red in color, I'd prefer to be cab, but I don't care?
I'd prefer it to be cab.
Okay. So you're not a snob, but
Not
you
a
are
snob.
picky about it.
Yes.
Okay.
I'm not picky about the Cabernet. If I go to sometimes you go to a bar and then they're just like, if you're like, I want a Cabernet, they only have that one.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I'll just take the one.
You usually go to a place and it's very generic, and you're like, I want a red wine, and they're like, oh, we have Pinot or Cab.
Yeah, exactly. I'm like, just give me a cab. What kind of beer do you like?
What kind of beer do I like?
Yeah.
It depends on what's going on. If I'm in the mood to drink a beer, I prefer nicer, full-bodied beers.
They all taste the same to me.
No, they're totally different.
I can't.
I could sit down and give you 3 with a blindfold on, and you'd be like, holy fuck, none of those taste the same.
I doubt that.
But it's true, because when I'm sitting around just for the hell of it, I call it high frequency beer, so it's like Coors Light. But it's something you just sit around, you're drinking. You're not drinking for the flavor, you're drinking for the refreshment of it, because the carbonation and it's so light. But like when I'm like I want a beer, like I want like a heavier beer, like a darker beer, like. But I'm not an IPA guy. IPA basically is just it's a fucking super bitter beer. There's people who are diehard IPAs and that's all they drink, and they're like, Coors Light's just water. Well, I don't like fucking bitter piss, so I don't drink IPAs. Sorry for the IPA fans out there. But then at the same time, like I said, it just depends. That's my kind of beer, though. Coors Light's kind of the go-to for me. A lighter, crisper refreshment.
You should be a spokesperson.
I should be. That, and for the longest time, I should have been a Jack Daniel's spokesperson.
Really? I like tequila now. That's a new one for me.
Now, do you like it straight, or do you like it like in cocktails?
No, I just shots.
Do you do the lemon or the lime and the
I
salt?
do it with lemon. I don't like lime. That's another thing. I cannot stand limes.
A Florida girl, a citrus state, and you don't like limes.
I hate limes. I think they taste like vomit, like that aftertaste. I'm not sure. But lemons. So I take a shot with lemon, and it's great because tequila doesn't make me nauseous or like hungover. I don't know. It's really weird.
And I've noticed that for being a professional drinker. I've obviously toned it way back from over the years, but like I learned what I could sit around and drink constantly and actually get a kind of a fucked up buzz off of and wake up the next day with minimal damage.
I took like 8 shots in Israel of tequila, and I woke up the next morning like fine.
What were you in Israel for? If you care to share?
I was on a group trip so I'm Jewish.
Happy Hanukkah.
Thank you. It is still Hanukkah.
This is day.
What day?
3?
I think so.
It's Friday.
It started
Tuesday
Tuesday
night.
night, so Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. Yeah, day 3. So
Third Hanukkah day.
happy Third Hanukkah. Thank you. We need to get a menorah.
We do for you.
Thank you. So I went. So you get to go to Israel for free once, if you're Jewish, between the ages of like 18 and 26, I believe. So I went.
Is it difficult to prove it? I mean, is there a lot of work you have to go through, or is it kind of like, okay, just we'll give you the free trip?
I mean, they call you and they ask you, like, you know, was your mom or your dad? Because the Jewish tradition, they believe you're Jewish if your mother was Jewish.
Okay.
Doesn't matter about your father. Both my parents were Jewish, so I'm like, you know, both ends. But on the trip, there were a lot of people whose mothers weren't Jewish and their fathers were, and they still got on. I think it's more of like a cultural, like, because they want more like younger generation Jews to be more in the culture of it. So they're just like, whoever we can get.
Right. I think that's a religious thing. Like, I wouldn't say worldwide, at least in our country, because the younger generation's kind of like, well, we have a lot of technology and science around us now, and well, you want me to believe that there's this thing that's in the sky that I can't see and no one's ever even seen, but all of us are supposed to believe in this thing, this person who sits on a cloud and created everything and gave us all and planned this all out to a T. Like the grass will grow, the trees will do this, and the bees will do that, and the birds will do that. And it's a hard one to swallow. My 6-year-old can barely wrap his head around the fact that there's this imaginary person sitting on a cloud calling the shots and making the shit happen. And so I think that we're just in a point where people they don't take shit for face value anymore. They're like, show me the fucking, give me some facts, prove to me why it's here, and if you can't prove to me, then I got other shit to go do. So I think that's the kind of the thing is people are like, all of them are like, hey, we got some cool stuff over here, let us talk to you. Because people just don't give a shit as much like they used to. It was like scared into you from youth.
Well, apparently, so when I went on the trip, they were like, you know, during the Holocaust, a lot of Jews died, and the number in the world now hasn't even gotten back up to that number
that happened before.
It was, yeah. So they're like,
shit.
yeah. So they want us to like breed and like practice the culture.
So you're a Jewish girl.
I am.
I'm not Jewish.
No.
And if we were to have sex and produce, well, there clearly is a God if you and I had sex and had a baby, because I can't make babies anymore. But it's just for conversation, if we were to have sex, I were to impregnate you, you had the child instantly, Jewish kid.
Yes. Period.
No take. Even if I was like, I don't want my kid raised as a
No,
Jewish
I have a
child.
cousin and he is not. His father's Christian, mom's Jewish, and he's like an atheist, but he's still Jewish. Because
so the Jewish community is like, we'll still take you.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's the blood. I'm serious.
No, I get it. Well, that was cool. I mean, did you have fun when you were over there?
I did.
Was it kind of like was it like, I wouldn't say an epiphany, but was it kind of like nice to visit the motherland or be surrounded by such an intense. Because I have to imagine that it wasn't like you were over there throwing down, getting drunk every day. Like
No.
I would imagine there was probably a very spiritual, deep kind of thing going on.
There was, especially, I lived in Tampa, so, in Miami there's a lot of Jewish people.
Okay.
So when I moved to Tampa, and there was none, and it was really strange being the only one, very minimal amount, and so I just kind of, when I went on the trip and being around other Jewish people, I didn't really notice how nice it would feel.
Right.
To be, I guess, just kind of in the same... Because we're all culturally, we all celebrate Hanukkah. We all know all the same stories and Passover.
Right.
I bring up Moses in the basket, going down the Nile, and people are like, what?
Surprisingly, not everyone knows the
Yeah,
stories.
but I talk to other people, and they're like, Jewish people, and it's just nice. And it's nice to know where we came from, I guess,
Right.
culturally. There's a lot that went on there that I didn't even know about.
Yeah. I've seen a few things, and it's because that's where the what is it, the wall, right? Kind of.
Yes, the Western Wall.
And
I went
to
there.
see everyone just touching and
It was
the
yes.
the emotion kind of oozed through the actual video that I saw about it. I was like, wow, this is kind of like.
That's how it felt in person.
It
honestly.
was that amazing.
It was that amazing. I'm not religious,
Right.
but I do like the culture and the history, and being at that Western Wall and seeing these people just, they would be there for hours just having their head on the wall and praying, and it was just
Right.
like, oh my goodness.
Shut this door real quick so we can keep going.
Yes.
People showing up in the office.
I don't know. But so yeah, I went to Israel and it was amazing, and then I've been to Africa. Which was
Oh, really?
nice. I did.
Like now, what kind of African?
like third world country Africa.
So you went and saw, it wasn't like you were the tourist. You were hanging out at the cool spa area. Like you went and saw real shit.
I did. I have a cousin who works there. He helps them, and he was like, "Come visit." So we visited, and it's real.
Now, did you get down and go out and help him? Was it like a
No, he has it's like a high job thing. It's not like a volunteer
Okay.
thing. It's like a real job. Like a politically thing.
Okay.
I don't know. Yeah, but no, we went, and the food's amazing.
I once had, and I think it was South African food that I had, and I was like, the flavors are so fucking intense.
Well, not even that though. It's more so because everything there's natural. They don't have freezers, and the electricity was rolling.
Right.
So everything was fresh. Like the peas tasted different. The eggs.
Because that's it. Like when you get in situations like that, there's what people try and do here in America with us. We're gonna do this farm to table. It's like, you motherfuckers. I know what you're trying to do, but you're never gonna get it like that.
No.
Because that's his and I'm a firm believer in that. And especially even in a first world country like America, it's like I still feel that that's something that's being lost. There's people that don't even know how to harvest their own food. They don't know how to hunt. They don't know how to fish. They don't know how to fucking grow
One
a
time I
garden.
tried to catch a newt, and I dropped it, and it ran, and it's probably breeding in my room right now with another newt. So.
Okay, I was talking more of something bigger than newt, but
It was a big newt.
but it's hiding in your room and you can't find it, so it's not like it was an actual meal. Were you gonna eat the newt?
No, I think he was eating the bugs in my room.
Well, then
Because
that's
it was
a
fat.
friend. That's a friend.
It's stuck. It got stuck under my books.
Now it just lays there and waits for the insects to fly to it, and it eats in the book.
It's probably why it's so fat, because there's a lot of bugs in Florida.
Well, it's the humidity. It's the South.
You're such a hater.
I'm from Georgia, dude. I was raised. I know all about it. I remember when I left the South, and the first time I'd been gone for a while, and when I went back in June, and I walked out of the airport, and there was this just wrapped around gnarly fucking, and I'd forgotten about it because I'd been gone just long enough, and I was like, what the fuck is this? And I was like, I can never live here again. And I'm not fond of it. But now that I'm here in Vegas, as dry as it is through the winter and the summer, there's that 1 month called August, and it is swampy as fuck out here.
Gross.
It goes, in the summertime we cruise around 105 to 115 for months. That's what our temperature is. Like at 2 o'clock in the morning, you're lucky if it drops down to 95 degrees.
That sounds awful. Why do you want me to move here?
We'll talk about that off camera. But then August rolls around and you drop below 100. You're cruising between like 95 and 105. And after you've been 110 for so many months, fuck, 100 and 105 feels like I said, you're sleeping in that weather. So that, well, we're not sleeping in it. You got the AC on for the most part. But then suddenly the humidity kicks in when it drops below 100 in August. And you're like, the 110 plus degree weather was better than this 95 degree weather with 70% humidity or whatever. It's like, it's the swampy South again. And it's horrible. I mean, you've been in the studio out here with different parts of the year, and you know, like, it's cold now. It was really hot in the fucking summer. But August, just that fucking month, it's horrible. Like, you walk out there and it's just, you start sweating. It's gross.
That sounds awful.
But you're from Miami. It's the same thing. You walk out in the summertime and your hair is just right and your makeup's done, and all of a sudden your hair goes poof and frizzes up. Your makeup starts to melt, and you're sweating under whatever outfit you're wearing.
True.
It's just, we only get it 1 month, though.
But it's not 95 degrees either. It's usually like 85.
It feels like 105 with that humidity, though.
I suppose. I'm used to it, though.
You'll get used to this out here. Even if it's not Vegas, if you move to Arizona, you're still gonna have to get used to the dry. And it takes about 9 months. Between 9 months and a year is what I found out and talking to other people. That's what it takes for a body to get acclimated to be living in such a extreme, like a desert. So your body will fuck off, and you'll have to change lotions, and all your products are gonna change, and you'll have to get more intense stuff. And then one day you'll look up and you realize, I'm not having to chug, 18 gallons of water to stay hydrated. My eyes finally stopped itching. My skin finally softened up again. I don't have those knees that feel like concrete anymore. Like, and these are telling you things like my personal, and you've been to my house. You've seen my grooming section. I mean,
yes, I have. Oh my goodness.
I'm probably one of the more metrosexual, roughneck looking guys. Like
you have so much. I don't understand.
But look at, you know how old I am. Do I look my age?
No.
And
you're sexy.
Thanks. I'm not 60.
Sexy.
But it's because, I mean, you have to take care of yourself.
Yes.
And believe me, I've put my body through hell, so now I'm like, I have to be really, here's this really nice moisturizer, here's this nice hair product, and there's that face scrub that I have, and that, like, it's...
And your 36 pomades?
There's only 4 pomades.
I don't believe you.
Well,
multiply that by 7.
And count them again one day.
Yeah.
Alrighty, so we are probably gonna have to start wrapping this up soon.
Okay.
I mean, I love talking with you, but we're shooting again today.
We are.
This is day 5.
Day 5.
Let's see. Is there anything else you want to talk about? Anything you want to?
You shoot me a lot.
I do. I like you a lot too. It's kind of fun. But like I said, I mean, the members even pick up on it. There's a power exchange that goes between the two of us, and there's a connection between the two of us, and people pick up on it because I mean, the members, when they see me do a shoot with a girl who's just there for the paycheck, and I'm just getting through the shoot so I can give them a new girl. Mm-hmm. Sometimes they don't pick up on it. There's times I have had shoots and I earned my money. It was a hard day. The model basically tied my hands behind my back and said, you can't do this, you can't do this. And I've still got to fucking get through a shoot.
Yeah. Because
this is money out of my pocket. So I'm like, all right, I have to make this shoot work, or either I'm out hundreds, thousands of dollars. Not hundreds of thousands, but hundreds or thousands. And then there's the ones who, or no, let me finish that. It's like, those are the hard ones because, and then people are like, this, and it always happens. It's one of the shittiest shoots of my life or my career. And someone's like, that's the best thing. Please bring fill in the blank name back. And I'm like, no. Unfortunately, I will sometimes try and appease people and give people a second chance, but usually the really shitty ones, there's no callback for those.
Well, it's funny because we shoot a lot. I mean, my face on your sites is everywhere. And I've never seen anyone complain about how much you've brought me back. I mean, I think I saw someone who was like, oh, I read the comments, by the way. Do you read all the comments?
We all do, motherfuckers.
And the thing he said is like, if you're going to keep bringing her back, just do a different position or something. Remember? That was like the worst.
Well, that was the one, and I think that was the one where we only did one position for the whole shoot.
Exactly. So it's like, nobody's ever complained. And I've seen some.
No one's even complained about the scene shoots where it's just you and I, and with your spread eagle on the floor, and that's all we do, and we do it for an hour straight. And you're also the only one I've ever done that with.
Yes, but I feel like also because of our dynamic, I feel like if you were to try to do that with some random girl, like one of those, and you tried to do the one scene thing, I mean, I could understand why it would be boring in a sense, but I feel like with our dynamic, it just makes it even better because it just keeps building. I mean, it's like a building growing, and by the end of it, it's like,
yeah, and that's the thing with you too, is like there's being a brat just to be a brat, and then there's being a brat, but you know what buttons you're pushing, and you maybe are or are not, depending on your mood, doing it with intent to get more ass kicking, but like you are more than willing to take everything and more than you dish out. Like, you know, like, okay, if I do this, or I act this way, or I say this, or I move, like if I oppose what's been said, he's gonna do this.
Mm-hmm.
And then you do what you're doing right now and you grin, and that's when I'm like, all right, she knows what she's doing this time. But like I said, I think it's because people, they see it. I mean, you can't just assume that people are, just because they're jerking off, that they're dumb. I mean, by any means, and not that any of us do, anybody who's watching this, but it's they see it and they pick up on it, and that's the reason they're like, why don't we see Roxanne every day? Why don't we see Roxanne doing the single scenes? And like, there's a reason that no one bitches, is because they see it, and they most of the time they pick up on those shoots where the model's a dead fish, and they're like, wow, I thought that was supposed to be bondage. And I can't take it personal, because it's not so much an attack on me as it is that it's just, I'll put it this way, so I don't go into too much detail and rant. It takes the bad ones to make the good ones better. So if I had nothing but scenes like you and I do on my sites, that would be, it wouldn't be as loved and wanted, because it would be the norm. They'd expect even more. So having a variety, and it mixes, because there's going to be some people who, they don't really care to see the extreme stuff that you and I do all the time, and they want that, oh, he just slapped her twice and made her come a lot, or he, you know, whatever, fill in the blank. So I think that variety helps, which is the only thing that keeps me not shooting the same 2 or 3 girls all the time. Well, that, and my boss would be like, yo, we need some more variety.
Yeah, that's true.
What's your favorite kind of scene? What's your, if you could describe, not a, or unless there is one that we did, but, and just describe like your perfect scene, like to sum it up, what would be the top 3 to 5 things you need to have in a scene to make it work, to make it like a top scene for you?
I like the one position. I like comfortable bondage positions, because I like, it's interesting because I like lighter bondage, I guess, opposed to like all that really intricate stuff, because I like to be beat, you know.
Right.
So I guess more comfortable bondage. I would like, so that's one. Orgasm, control. Whether it's denial or force, I'm fine either way. Both. Doesn't matter. I like that. What else? Hot wax.
That's 3.
That's 3. That's my new one. That's my new. I like how it, like, I like being playful, obviously. Yeah. I'm bratty. You know, I'm gonna be bratty, at least in the beginning.
Right. You like to set the mood.
I do. I mean, eventually I'll give in, if I feel like it.
The right person's there to make you.
Yeah. That was 4.
That's 4.
I think that might be, what's 5?
The hands.
The hands. Oh, yes, hands. Oh, and boots.
Hands and boots. So we'll say boots. Hands and boots for 5.
Hands and boots are 5, and wedding bands.
We like put this on a lollipop and let you just walk around sucking on it.
You should do that the next time.
Jesus Christ.
You should like tie it on a string and like hang it on my face.
And just watch you.
Yes.
All right. I think we have run out of time. We need to get going.
Yes.
And start getting ready for our shoot today. Good luck with everything.
Thank you. Good luck to you.
I'm trying to think like how I could sign off from doing this, because it's like I said, this is our first one.
See you later, alligator.
See you after a while, crocodile. You also are a big pun person and dad joke freak.
Oh,
right?
Yes. Yes. I am the dad joke queen. I am the meme queen. the dad joke queen. I'm the funniest person.
And with that, we'll call it a day.
Yes.
All right. Thank you so much. Enjoy the rest of your day. Happy holidays. Happy Hanukkah.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.